Hello. All right. Hello and good evening. My name is Chris Palmer with grayhatseo.com. Also, of course, chrispalmer.org. Don't forget the mastermind. With that out of the way, I do not want to waste any time in today's video. What I would love to share with you is a updated version, a guide, a tutorial, a walkthrough, a step-by-step process in understanding website architecture for multi-location and multi-service businesses. Yes, I have gone over this in the past, but what was brought to my attention from another subscriber is I noticed that I was getting questions about videos that were relatively old. So I thought to myself, hey, SEO changes, skill sets change. Of course, mine has, so has yours. Perhaps maybe you're just learning, you've just found this channel. And what I have learned in the course of a decade is monumental. So, what I can help you do with website architecture is I can have you close the book that you're in now and open a brand new book, right? On the journey of SEO. I know that my parables are horrible. With that being said, before we get started, some massive things that have changed, all right? And we're going to touch on them right now. There's two big ones. Before we get into the step-by-step process for multi-service, multi-location, local business website architecture, right? I'm going to walk you through the process. I'll give you actual examples. On top of that, I also want to give you some caveats to really not just keep in the back of your mind, but the front of your mind, on the tip of your tongue, moving through 2025. All right. The very first thing that has changed a lot is not only do we want to serve Google a winning template. What I mean by this is, when you're doing your on page, you want to have the right words, the right density, LSIs, co-occurring key phrases, the right scheme. Google ranks pages, not sites. It's very important to have a well-optimized site, a page that Google wants to see. I at least want to give them what they're looking for. This goes all the way to traffic, to backlinks, to the on-page, and yes, website architecture. Let me show you the two examples that are going to be most important to understand when analyzing a SERP before beginning or modifying your website's architecture. As a small, I also want to point out that I will show you the optimal way, in my opinion. If you have current rankings, if you have a current structure, all right, this does not mean to run out and change everything. Yes, I want to show you the optimal way from the very beginning, but if you're ranking, if you have pages in the forward-facing index, the search results, and they've been there for a significant amount of time, they're getting traction, they're getting traffic, don't change them, okay? Just because it's not optimal doesn't mean page age is a massive factor. So there's tip number one. Again, stick with me. We're going to go through a tutorial. This is a live stream, but let me show you the two structures that really matter. And these two structures and how you're going to look for them before even beginning your campaign is by looking at your primary terms. Remember, if you're a business owner, for instance, like one of my clients here, let's go take a look at my friend here. All right. So my good friend, Zach, he's in San Diego. Not this guy here. Sorry about that. So this is Zach. We talk, we're friends. He's starting to modify his site. He was cleaning up some of his blogs. When we take a look at this site, I already told him about the two on top of each other. I said, hey, I'm not the cosmetic expert, but it should only be one row. In any case, right? We're not here to nitpick cosmetics. But what I want to point out to you is this is a flat architecture. What do I mean by this? Well, I want you to take a look at this. So we're going to go to the homepage. And what we can see here is Zach's auto reg or registration in San Diego. That's his homepage. This is primary entity. All right. When we see boat registration, car registration, motorcycle registration, title transfers, right? These are top level service pages. This is a top page, top level service. When I click on car registration, It's going to take me to the car registration top level page. I'm establishing an entity by saying, hey, we are Zach's / we do this, right? We are this, and we are synonymous with the services we provide. Think Coca-Cola, right? Or think anything, even basketball players. Think Michael Jordan. What do you think? Basketball or shoes, right? This is the same for your sites. When they think dentist or they think roofer or whomever, your potential customers think whatever, I need your business ringing in their head. And that's your goal. That's your mission. And whose head you really want it ringing in is Google's, right? We want to make it very clear to Google. With that being said, this is a flat architecture. So again, just to reiterate and go through this, I'm sorry, I like to explain things, right? If you're just joining me, I like to enjoy myself. I absolutely want to give you the information. So bear with me a little bit here. So as we go through here, we have a top level page here. This is Zach's main entity. That's his brand name. Homepage is going to be branded, right? We've talked about this. What I mean by branded is going to be title should be, right? Again, hey, clients, it's their sites. Homepage should be branded. We go into the headers. Of course, this will be brand. The primary optimization zones, if we're going to put it inside of a header, would be brand. With that being said, I think he's going for DMV on this page. I'm not sure why he added extra stuff. Doesn't matter. Top level page is going to be, in this case, boat registration. And then we do boat registration where? Well, there's going to be locations. If we scroll down here, I'm not sure where he put them. He does boat registration San Diego, La Mesa, Lemon Grove, El Cajon, Coronado. When you click on, say, San Diego, it will go flat. See, it's still supporting the main idea. What's the main idea? Zach's auto registration is the main idea. This is a flat architecture. Now, when we are in San Diego and how you determine which architecture to choose, and I'll show you a hard silo next, and then we'll walk through the process of developing this. But what I want to point out to you is this. Let's say we wanted to rank for auto registration San Diego, just like my friend Zach, right? So my friend Zach, of course, we're in the map pack. I mean, come on. Right? But with that being said, as we scroll down here, he's probably on page 1 somewhere. Okay, number 6. And Zach, we came up, huh? We're doing pretty good now. Awesome to see. This isn't the page. Well, you have to detune your homepage. But with this being said, we can see here that top performers, I was looking for my friend, Finest, Yelp. Okay, this is going to be a silo. Okay, now sites that look like me. We have a homepage. This is us, homepage. All right, now let's take a look at our secondary term. Remember, we can't just only hone in on one. What are we looking for? We're looking to determine for the overall top level pages, right? Because again, this video is about website architecture, right? Of course, ranking on Google, but it's website architecture with understanding that really at the end of the day, there's only two, right? For what we're doing, local business websites. So we're looking at either a flat architecture or a siloed architecture. And I want to point this out, or a hard silo. Just because you do not have a hard silo does not mean through the creation of internal links, there isn't a virtual silo, because there is. We are creating emphasis of importance by utilizing internal link flow. And we'll talk about that momentarily using these examples, all right? So with that being said, all right, we're going to come down into here. My good friend, he does boat registration. I think we just started doing this, or he just started. I've been helping this gentleman out. I mean, we became friends now. I think we've been working together about 3 weeks now, maybe a month. So I think this is a newer service. But with that we've already hit page 1. So when we come over here, we can see homepage. top level page. We have a siloed page. This company is doing it with information. This is a home page, top level page, top level page, top level. Okay. Now what we're going to do is look up motorcycle. See, these are the multi-service, multi-locations that we provide these services in. This is touching on both parts, right? We offer these multiple services in multiple areas, right? So what we need to first establish is what type of architecture, in the most part, is going to be rewarded by Google. This plays massively into my overall performance in the long term. In short term, people might get ahead of you. It's not a short play. SEO is not a short play. It's long term. Long term success and lessons that I've learned from the past, I've made tons of mistakes, is that following what Google is rewarding without taking shortcuts in a long enough time bracket leads to success. So take that or leave it. I've learned it, lost numerous clients trying to rush success. Take your time, do things right, you will reach it. In any case, what we're looking at here is we can see home pages. Now we're looking up a new key term. We're going down the list. We're seeing home pages and top level pages. So what does that mean when you're seeing a bunch of home pages? Well, but I've also seen mixtures of top level pages. Majority of the time in local SERPs that you're targeting, multiple service, multiple locations, right? Same state in this instance. When you start to see home pages, I can still have a top level page rank, especially when I'm seeing a mixed SERP such as this. Now I'll show you another example, different client, different market altogether, where what is being rewarded is more of a hard siloed approach. All right. So let's go over here and I want to point this out. So here, we'll take a look here. This is very well done, and there's a lot of things going on here that are good. All right. So let me point out a couple things. So this is a siloed site. As you saw just before on Zach's, that is a flat architecture. This is a hard silo. All right. There's a lot good here, a lot that we, of course, can fix. SEO is a work in progress, right? That's what makes it, for me, a ton of fun. You're always learning and you're always, tuning. And on top of that, it's almost like a game, right? So tons of fun, in my opinion. With that said, let's take a look here. So when we start taking a look here, let me just see. All right. This is more of a lead generation asset. We got a lot going on here, but I just want to point out the structure so you know what the differences are. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the treatments. All right. So we come into treatment and you can see that treatment is the top level. Now, the reason for this is because this is a lead generation asset. So we have a top level page for treatment, and then we're going to swipe all types of secondary terms or secondary services underneath. For instance, and I'm just showing you structure. All right. Now, what we're looking at here is, let's just say it's alkaline wash. All right. So as you can see here, we have treatment / alkaline wash. And then what we've done in order to even go deeper, right? Again, this is a silo, depth of concept. With new updates since last September, is actually before that. Especially in these types of markets, we need to have more of a robust profile in order to find success. We need to showcase to Google, the bot, that we have depth of concept. How do you do that? There's a magnitude of ways. Some of the ways are with age. Page age matters. How long have you been doing it? Of course, referring domains. Of course, traffic and clicks. Another way is by having depth of information, but not any information, and not all information is equal. Some information has entity archetypes, right? Anything that's been given a entity ID holds more weight. In any case, we have our questions to support our treatment and our alkaline wash. Why is that important? Have you noticed Google has been giving a lot of love to discussions? Reddits are coming up. They've even made new snippets. This is an entity type query that I can gain traffic. Next, clinics. This is a dollar play. However, this is building depth of concept to further support that we're the expert. Look at all the other experts I have. You with me? But this is the silo here. Reviews. Of course, I need social proof. Social proof has contributors. If you're doing it right, they should have contribution IDs no matter what platform they're on. Validated and verified and vetted reviews from around the web. You with me? Entity types. Galleries, images. Entity. It's been given an entity ID. Video. Entity ID. And then to bring it all together, all right? This is fun, right? But this, I'm showing you the silo here. I'm showing you, I'm giving you a gem, by the way. I'm giving it to you. This took, did you see these lessons? This took some time. All right. So with that being said, I also want to point this out. All right. You're also building, when you're siloing something like this, it depends on the market, the dollar potential, and the competition levels. All right. Running sites and assets like this, it's not for everyone. All right. The vast majority of sites, perhaps your site is going to be more like Zach's. All right. These are our favorite. These take a lot of time, a lot of resource, a lot of energy, a lot of upfront investment, and a lot of upfront thinking. Okay. With that being said, I want to point out the other piece, because previously how you would build your assets is you would get all your high commercial intent. We're talking about this type, high commercial intent, high competition, high lead flow, high dollar amount, right? High comp. All right. With that being said, you want to build from the base up. So you saw how I was supporting each individual category and category information type, right? You saw I was supporting it with entities, AKA depth of concept, but really all we're doing is supporting primary key terms. And we're flipping leads, right? At the end of the day, though, when you start looking at information is surrounding more depth of concept, but it's supported by what? Experts, right? This is how you find longevity inside of SERPs. All right. Now, let me point something out to you. Come on over here. All right. Here. Now, this site, of course, was not done alone, but these are a bunch of geniuses here. Big love over here. Here, I want to point something out. I'm just going to grab a random one. Okay. So bear with me here. Let's just grab this. Okay. Now take a look at the image. All right. See the image. Okay. Grab the name. Now, not only within the site have we built author profiles, bios, descriptions, but it's also supported online. Helpful hint. Okay. Here, I'll point this out to you. Here. I got a little far off of the the old beaten wagon here, right? Let me point this out to you. Take a look here. All right. See the professor? You with me? The expertise has been backed up. You with me? You're building an entity profile of expertise. The information is built from the ground up. It's all being supported on the back of the expert. You'll find faster success and the longevity will be longer. All right. That's enough on this. All right. On top of this, of course, if you go taking a look, you might say, oh, that's a real person. Is it? Looks like it, doesn't it? All right. Moving forward. This is a silo, AKA a hard silo. This is how it's done. They're very proud of this site. With that being said, let's move forward. All right. What's really good, though, is I met a new friend that wants to just demolish that site. And that's an interesting thing. Yeah, I look forward to it. In any case, now that we've established the two types, now let's talk about or give some examples on how you can do it for yourself. All right. So here's how I love to do it. And this is going to be another update for your basic website. You understand a hard silo, and I'm sure you now see a flat archetype, right? And you also see the different complexities of each. Now, if I start taking a look at things like this, so we'll go to, let's do Invisalign in, say, a city like London. I probably spelled that wrong, but I'm not a spelling expert. I'm a semantics expert. All right, so here we're going to come down here. We come down the list here, and what we're going to start seeing here now, because I have a slight technical advantage because I've already spent time looking and digesting this, when we start looking at things like Invisalign, caps, any type of cosmetic dentistry, what you'll start to notice is there are some players that show up in every single SERP for all of the key term and key term variations and the locations. All right, you with me? With that being said, when you've devised your list of players that are showing up for all key term and key term variations in SERPs that you actually want to rank for, such as Invisalign London, okay? Now you might do dentures London, okay? Now dentures might be different, but then you'll also do dental caps London, okay? There's a reason I'm pointing this out to you because it goes into figuring out your structure. I don't know if I've addressed this or made this evidently clear. There's steps, even the structure matters. The way the internal link flow matters. Who wrote the article matters. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get lucky. You can. I see it all the time. And I'm not saying that if you already have an old asset that you can do subpar optimization and get lucky, because you can. But I think if you have a new asset, especially in a competitive market, from the very beginning, you need to establish, even if you're going to do a flat architecture, we want to get some key elements in place. We want to establish our expertise. We want to establish who we are, establish what our primary services are, our service types, what our structure is. And that's what I'm pointing out for you right here. All right. I digress. Let's take a look at this. Now we're going to do one more. Let's say it's dental fillings. I think these are all technically, I guess they could be general dentistry, but also cosmetic. But anyway, dental fillings, London. All right. The reason why I'm geo-modifying it is because it is a relatively large city, but I'm not in London. All right. It was just London's on the brain. With that said, all right, what we need to first identify is which players are showing up. So obviously Invisalign, they own the name. They're going to show up for that one. But let's look down our list. Sensu, Harley, Clear Brace. I recommend looking at the top 15. You could look at top 12 if you'd like. With certain AI has taken over algorithm, in my opinion, and it could be adjusted based upon time of day, clicks, traffic. It can flip-flop many times throughout the day. However, that's the sort order, not necessarily the actual sites. To get a new site into Google's product, because that's what search results are, they're a product, to change Google's mind takes more than just, some manipulation. It takes a little bit more, right? But with that said, let's remember these. So we have Clear, Bishop, White, Perfect Smile, Ultra, Sensu. Okay. Now we're going to not look at motorcycle registration. Medea, Clinic, Wimple, Dentures. Okay. There's Harley again, MEK. All right, leave that up. So Invisalign and dentures are two different things. Aha, Smile Clinic. Okay, so dentures and dental caps are perceived as the same thing. Okay. Two different SERPs. They deserve two different top level categories. But I'm leading to a point that's going to point to your multi-service, multi-location. All right, bear with me here. And then when we take a look at fillings, Aqua, Tooth London, MEK again, and Mata. Okay, so Invisalign definitely has enough volume. On top of that, does it have a local pack? So does this deserve its own top level service page? Absolutely, if you provide it. But I want to point something out to you. Invisalign is a different type of procedure in Google's eyes to dentures, dental caps, and dental fillings. I may or may not have already known this, right? I laid this out to prove a point. And what I'm getting to you is you need to set your entity and business type and get it right from the beginning. What I'm getting at here is Invisalign is cosmetic dentistry. These three over here are general dentistry. So do you want to go for low volume, big bucks, or do you want to go for fast flip? It's up to you. But I'll set you with this. I talked to a business owner the other day. He's like, "Oh, we want to go with the high value model." So okay, all right. Think of the best restaurant you ever thought of, right? Like, what's the best? $200 a plate, right? And then think McDonald's. Who's getting to it, right? Let's do this. It's faster, it's better, it's quicker. That's my opinion. We all see the same thing through different eyes. That's how I would roll. I want fast, right? But that's me. And then two, generally, you usually make more in the long run. All right. But we all see the same thing through different eyes. With that being said, all right, I want to point this out to you. So what I think I would do in this particular case is I'd probably get rid of this and I would start looking for, okay, understanding these are the top levels. And now we can see that, all right, we can set our top level service pages up. But now what we're going to look at is, well, what is Google rewarding? Home pages, hard silos, right? Or is it going to be more of a flat architecture? Let's take a look together, all right? Of course, I know the answer. We're in this SERP, but let's take a look. Understanding and seeing that there's a local pack is also important. You know, I'm not going to set a top level service page up if there's not a local pack. Why? Maps plays a huge part. And we want to have local top level service pages. We want to have location pages. But of course, once we get into position, right? Or if we're already in position from a monetary standpoint, we're going to start laying in service area businesses. We're going to start playing that little game, right? We'll just start taking up 5-mile blocks. Even if it only gets me a couple calls, it's a couple more calls, right? And nothing, Jordan Pierce said this, I can't say it any better. Nothing establishes an entity or a business better than a Google business profile. Nothing. I agree. With that being said, we want to make sure that Google is showing the same results. That means we can talk about these same things. Now, we want to make sure it's not showing the exact same results because that would mean that we can combine terms. All right. This is not a keyword research video, but it's so important to understand. So important. All right. Because dead wood, right? Pages that aren't performing drag the site. If you're calling Google continuously and consistently to junk, how many more times do you think they're going to come back? Right? Hey, come on over here. Nah, I need them to come see new money. Right? I'm sure you're with me. So we only want to have pages on our site that can produce dollars for the potential customer, right? For you, for your clients, and or produce business for you as a business owner. If it doesn't make dollars, we don't want to have it on the site. And informational purpose, I understand it doesn't make direct dollars, but oftentimes supporting content, lifetime value matters. Get talking to or having a touch point at a different phase in the funnel of sale is also good. Just because they're not an immediate buyer now doesn't mean that they won't be in 3 months from now. Also, on top of this, because of advancements in AI and in Google, having depth of concept can lead to sales in information assisted selling, right? I think that program came out in 1991, right? It all works together. So back to the point here. We're setting up our multi-service, multi-location. Before we do, we need to establish our primary services. What do the winners have for each of the services we provide? What is the structure? We take a look here. It gives us our purpose. Is there volume? Is there CPC? And is there a map pack? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. On top of that, this says 0 because I'm in USA, mind you. Okay. So there's volume in London, trust me. When we take a look here, we're looking to see, well, is it top level pages, top level category pages? Is it siloed pages? Are they hard silos? Like what's being rewarded? See services / so that's a hard silo. This is a / top level. We have a hard silo. Now we look at dental fillings. Same players, different sort order. All right. So again, we're going to get the same results. We have a hard silo, top level service page, hard silo, and hard silo. All right. It's very evident here that each service deserves its own top level page. On top of that, we're going to support our top level pages with information and location service pages. All right. Because A, we know that Google's rewarding these individual services. B, we know there's volume and it's throwing a map pack. C, we know that our top competition is in each of these SERPs, and what's being rewarded is the silo. We're just going to feed Google exactly what they want. And then in order to maintain our relevance and our rank, how we do that is we're going to build depth. How you build depth is by creating entity assets. What's an entity asset? Videos, audio, images, and words. Words. And how you associate entities to words is through something called JSON LD. And how that works is you're going to create your user profiles and other bodies of work online, and you're going to connect the dots. And that's how you make your words entities too. Relevance equals rank. The only thing the scheme is doing, don't make you rank. It makes it more relevant. All right. All right. Let's move forward. All right. So now we've established that. Let's lay out some silos together. Okay. So here we go. All right. I hope that you're enjoying today's video. I was just going to come on, say, okay, here's flat, here's a hard silo, and here's how you do it. And I'll see you later. But I felt like there was more to tell you. So I did. All right. So I hope that it's been helpful. You know what? I was supposed to see that guy today. I didn't see him today. That's odd. Oh, well. So here. That must have been for another video. So let's talk about this. All right. So in this particular instance, or this particular case, we're going to start with your basic website architecture, aka your flat architecture. All right. Now, yes, I've done this in numerous times. The big caveat or the big takeaway here is that based upon what Google is rewarding, we need to first do our homework. And if we're doing hard silos, this means that it's a harder niche, or there's more eyeballs to capture, because it's going to be a lot more work. Flat architecture, there's still work, because what I didn't go through yet is I didn't walk you through the internal linking and how you create importance through internal links. All right. We'll talk about that in 2 seconds here, because I already drilled down on hard silos, how to establish them, what are the key elements. I've even given you an example. All right. We're going to talk about the flat architecture type, and then we're going to call it So I have to go see little Chris. All right. So here we are. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to have, let's do an example. Let's pick one. Let's say that we are, let's stick with dentist. All right. But we're going to keep it flat. So let's say that we are dentist. How about CP dentist? So that's Chris Palmer dentist. Oh, you're not going to put caps in there. cpdentist.com. All right. So this is our primary entity. This is our homepage. Now, the very next thing that we want to do is we want to establish, well, what are our primary services? So it's going to be dental filling, dental cap. Now, it might be different key terms. Again, this is just an example to showcase to you the different parts. And then we're going to walk through internal linking. I'll answer your questions, and then we'll be done for today. All right. And I hope that you walk away learning a little bit. All right. Dental filling, dental caps. We're going to do tooth, I don't know, removals. And then we might even do here, because these are all pretty much general dentistry. So, and then we'll do dentist. All right. These pages or these assets here are called primary category pages. Now, these are looked at by, you can call it whatever you want. All right. But where this goes, and when you establish this, the next thing you want to do is you want to establish your list of locations. So let's just go ahead and do that now. And I want to point something out to you because it gets a little deeper, just like when you're doing your hard silos. And I'll point this out to you to give you more value. All right. So let's say it's Houston. All right. This is where I notice a lot of business owners when they're doing their structure and their page architectures. Architecture isn't just the parameter. The architecture is not just words and density. But geolocation matters. So I want to point this out to you. All right. So what you'll notice is if I go to Houston, okay, let's come out here to Houston. We're just going to look at Houston. It's a big city, right? Probably a pretty tough city. We're going to use Google because Google makes it very easy for us. They paid a lot of money to make this easy for them. They were buying the data, but they also made it easy for us. Thank you, Google. But when we come inside here now, anything that's inside of red is Houston. So wait a second. Does that mean that I can create a Houston page while targeting all these other bolds? That's right. But if I look up primary service plus the other bold type, even if it's in Houston, unless there is volume, we don't create a page. The other secondary check is if I look up Houston dentist and then I look up Acres Home Dentist, does Google show me the same results? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then I'll include this term on my Houston page, right? But if it shows me completely different pages, oftentimes what you'll find is beginners to lead generation, they're doing rank and rent. What they'll do is they'll go out there and say, all right, I'm going to go and buy acreshomedentist.com. And they'll catch that easy win, but that's all they'll get. Right? So if you see more than one of these types of players already in position, or maybe it's an old school guy, he's been on the board for 20 years, there's more than one, then don't combine it, just go and fight, right? Like we'll just create another page as long as the volume is there. I hope this is making sense to you. What I mean by this is very simple. I'll give you an example. If you're like, I don't understand, Chris, I'm a visual learner, I need to see it. Let me show you. So if I look up dentist Houston. All right. And then I come over here and I type in, what was it called? Acres Home. Okay. Acres Home Dentist. All right. Is Google showing me? Oh, ACRES. Okay. Acres Home. So locations. Okay. 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 Is it home? Maybe I picked the worst example ever. Here. I don't want to spend the time doing searches and changing my stuff. I just want to show you the point, right? Like I know I can change my geolocation. I know, right? I know there's search from. I know there's Valentin. I actually created my own extension. I know. I just wanted to show you the answer, but I picked the completely wrong example. That's okay though. I just hate when I have to. It's like I just want the answer so I can show you. You know, it just aggravates me to no end, but that's okay. No problems. So UT, we're going to just take a look here. I actually don't like this because Google thinks it's all these different types of things. Plus, like depending upon the searcher's geolocation, it can change. And because Google thinks there's so many, in this particular instance, I already know if there's volume, I know I'm going to have to end up creating a page. Luckily for us, there isn't volume, right? So I'm not seeing it being worthwhile because there's no volume. But let's say there was, all right? I would probably still do it because it's showing me too many different variants without me saying, okay, I'm sitting right here in this actual town. You know what I'm saying? Like it was showing me Lehigh Acre. It was showing me results from Texas, Pennsylvania, and Florida. Like madness. UT, Harris Health. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look up just Dentist Houston. All right. See the UT. All right. So the one that Google has identified as being hyper specific to Houston, of course. And then on top of this, here's our dentist in Acres Home, Texas. We have our same player. On top of that, I think I saw Harris too on top of it. I don't know where I saw it, but I think I saw it. With that being said, the top performers, this is what I mean. So if there was more than just one and Google wasn't having so much trouble identifying it, this would mean that, hey, I can just talk about Acres Home on my Houston page. Why? Because Acres Home is in Houston. How do I know? Because it's red. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to first establish the primary cities. Once you get your primary city in your service, the next thing you want to do is you want to get your counties, and then you want to get your towns, and then you want to get your neighborhoods. All of the counties, all of the towns, and all of the neighborhood names. No, I am not going to create individual pages for each, but I'm going to talk about, I'm going to make an internal link block, a block. I don't care what size it is. I need those words to show up on the page somewhere. So I can also rank for dentist plus any one of these variations of neighborhood, county, or town. You with me? That way I can create one page, but now this page can rank for hundreds of location and location variations and modifiers and zip codes and how, because remember, all these service and service location and variation types are servicing different intents. They're different key terms, right? Key terms are really just intents. So the least amount of effort or the most amount of work I could put into this page, the more people I could potentially help. I hope that you're with me here. So you're identifying a primary market, see what's in it, go and identify the counties. If it's only one county, great. Sometimes you'll get 2 or 3. Identify the primary towns. And then within those towns, identify the primary neighborhoods. Now, if you end up finding a county or you end up finding a town that is getting traffic and it's not competing with your head city, right? Then you can, it's up to you as the webmaster to determine, is there enough volume? Am I going to compete with myself at any point with any of my other service key terms? Then I would make the decision to create another page. As long as I'm not going to compete with myself, and as long as there's enough traffic to warrant me trying to fight for that and investing the time, the energy, the resources to create that page properly, then we'll do it. But oftentimes we want to compact as much as we can right into this page. All right. I hope that makes a lot of sense because it'll help your pages. I see it all the time. You'll go through all this work, go through all this trouble, right? You'll put up your pages, right? Even in the big cities, you'll get up to the top for your vanity word. Finally, I'm on page one. And it never produces the traffic or the clicks or the sales that you thought it would, right? Well, the way to maximize this is utilizing that formula that I just shared with you. I can get the key term, county variations, and neighborhood variations without creating individual pages. Individual pages in the short term get success, but in long term, all it does is drag the site. All right. So I hope that helps you out, and let's move forward. All right. I know I honed in on that and took some significant amount of time there. I apologize, but it's important and it was worth it. All right. You can really maximize profit potential for you or your client or your business, your family, so it's worth it, and then on top of that here, oftentimes I'll get pushback from some clients because they may not understand. I'm not saying that you're going to create this menagerie and leave it there forever. We're looking to see what Google is going to reward and where we're going to catch our wins, right? So once we have our asset in position, once we start getting traffic, key term variations, clicks, impressions, then we can start to make our decision on how we're going to retune the page. Just because you create that page once doesn't mean that you're just going to let it sit there forever and never look at it again. Of course you are. On top of this, Google rewards freshness. So once we have a full understanding on, hey, are we ranking for a county term and key term variations, county plus zip code? Are we ranking for neighborhoods or towns or just the primary city? Once we know what the page is starting to pick up traction for and we know what it's not, then we can make our decisions on our re-optimization or we call it refreshing the page. Okay? All right, awesome. With that said, we've identified our locations. All right, so we have Houston, but note in that page, we're going to talk about neighborhoods, towns, right? We just discussed that. That's how important it is. All right, there's a lot of homework in just having a Houston page, right? I generally don't talk about these things because I never want SEO to feel daunting where someone won't start, right? But I've had so many business owners go out and try those different strategies, right? But they're missing some of the pieces. So I'm just hoping that we can fill in those gaps, all right? So we have Houston, let's just say Austin, Dallas, and Fort Worth, all right? So what are we doing here? Now note, when we create our dentist, all right, give me one moment, please. And the way I have it written here, I'm not saying these are the best terms or it should be location, then key term or key term, then location. This is just an example. All right, my friends, I'm just showing you structure and architecture, and then we'll talk about how to interlink them. All right. So what we're doing here is we're taking care of our flat architecture. All right. So we're establishing first and foremost primary services and then the locations that we want to service. I got a little ranty on establishing ways to maximize the earning potential of your pages by executing on locations, towns, cities, and neighborhoods within a primary city page. All right. And Chris, well, why wouldn't we just create a county page and talk about the cities in there? I'll tell you why. There's two types of pages that generally get the vast majority of actual traffic and organic eyeballs. Why is that important? If there's eyeballs and there's more organic traffic, that means that SERP, right, and those websites are getting more interaction from Google, right? So I want pages that are going to be more frequented by Google, and I want pages that have a higher likelihood of being frequented by people because that means they have a higher likelihood of being frequented by Google, right? So we just aim for where the money is. Where's the volume? Where's the high CPC? Okay, that's what we're going to feed them. That's what Google wants to see. And then I'm going to cram all the other stuff in there because there is other earning potential, but it's not me worth building out 9 million pages for. You with me? Okay. I knew you were. So here's what we're going to do. If you decide this is another reason why we want to do all this homework up front, because when you have 4 pages, really this is 4, 8, 12, 16 pages, right? But it's not 16 because I need a top level, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. And here's what it's going to look like. So we have here, let's just do 3 just to make it a little easier for me. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Then we have our top level page, which is going to be this. All right. These are location service pages. All right. Bear with me. Okay. These are primary categories. Main entity of page, aka the home page. Right. And then we'll put it all together. Just wanted to give a clearer explanation. This is how I understand it, so that's why I teach it this way. Okay. So we have main entity, homepage. We're establishing our brand, which is synonymous with the services we provide. Primary categories, aka what services do you do that actually get volume? Dentist, dental filling, and dental caps. I put dashes here because you have to put dashes for our URL parameters. So I'm just getting them ready to set up for our URLs. Location, service, pages. What I wrote here is I made 1, 2, 3 location. I call these internal linking blocks, and I'll share with you why in a second. But I made 3 sets of locations with dashes. Why did I do this? Because we're going to take this copy. We're going to go like this. 1. My mistake. We're going to do this. 1. Okay. Then we're going to get our dental filling. Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth. And what we're doing right now is we're setting up the architecture for a 3-service, 4-location business. All right. Stick with me here, and we're about to wrap this up. Then we're going to do these down here. Dental filling, Houston. I just want to just copy them all. Did you guys notice that? It's fun. Okay. So here, boink, boink, boink. All right. So now we have our 1, 2, 3. These are our location service pages. These are our primaries. And this is our main entity. So here is how the silo or the internal linking blocks will go. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our main page, copy. So this is our home page. The next piece that we want to go ahead and do is we are going to need to have our primary service, copy. So let's just say it's /dentist. All right. Now, what is this optimized around? Excellent that you ask. Remember what we just talked about? There's really only 2 things that really generally get the vast majority of traffic. State terms, right? And plus we need a top level housing page. So what I like to do combinations of, I'm not saying this is the end all be all. This is what we like to do on service pages or on like local websites is we'll have dentist. This is going to be optimized around the brand, the homepage. One of our services is dentist. Now, what we're building our site around is Texas. So we're going to put dentist here to establish the entity, but the title, the URL, the H1, and the main density of the page, that means in the body text, the 3 words are going, or the 2 words in this case, will be dentist Texas will have the highest density. All right. This way we can catch them all. And then what we'll do is we're going to keep a flat architecture, and we're going to then have this. All right. So then you're going to build this out like this. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And then you just do, oh, I don't know why I want to do that so bad. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm never coming, never really wanna get down. All right, there you are. Bum 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 bum. We have a silo. La la. Right? Okay. So we've established the main entity of the page. Plus, I was listening to I rent literally this side out. So I was like, what are they arguing about? Don't put a hole in my wall. That's really what I was thinking. Anyway, so we have CP Dentist. Here's our dentist top level page, right? This page is going to be optimized around Dentist Texas in this case. Then we have our Dentist Houston, Dentist Austin, Dentist Dallas, Dentist Fort Worth. Why did we do it this way? Because Google is rewarding a flat architecture type, all right? And we want to give Google what they want to see. Now, Chris, what were you talking about internal linking blocks? Like, what does this mean? Let's go ahead and take our example now that we've explained everything thoroughly, I believe. And let's talk about how we are going to interlink this particular block. And yes, I know we have multiple services, but you saw how I filled this out. This here is a silo, and we can build internal link flow utilizing internal links. All right. Let me share with you how you would go about doing this. Okay. I'm not going to log in. Everybody's themes and plugins and everything's different. So, but what we can understand is a header, a footer, and a body. And we can understand what a URL is, right? So this is something we can all agree on. There's no caveats or differences due to tools that we use, right? So let's do it this way. All right. And you may have seen me do this. I apologize. But it can be very, very valuable to understand to those that don't know it already. All right. So it's worth talking about just one more time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put our example up here. All right. So the only thing that for some reason it did not take is this. So let me just go ahead and grab this, Control C. We're going to put this here. Enter. I don't know why it didn't put it here. So dentist. All right. And I'm even going to go one more just for fun. We're going to do the home page. Okay. I'm going to bring this in like this. And then what I'm going to do in my softest hand possible, I'm going to at least try to go ahead and do this. All right. So what we're going to do is you have your home page. This home page is going to target a primary service. And then that primary service is going to have, it looks like what? Houston, Austin, Dallas, and Fort Worth. These are all equal to one another, and I drew it that way on purpose. I apologize. My artistic abilities are far from the best, but I tried. With that being said, I want to share with you how you link these particular assets. Here's our home, top level service, and then here's our pages. All right. I'm going to draw a web page. This is an individual page, and I'm going to point out how you would actually do this. All right. Now remember, from our example, we do dentist, we do fillings, we do, I don't know, Invisalign. All right. Now, these particular types on the page, this here is our header. This section here is our sidebar. This section here, oops, I'm using a mouse, by the way. And I'm sure, yeah, I know there's drawing things. I actually own a board here. So, just before you even say it, there's always some way to do it better. And then that's our body. And then because I ran out of room because my drawing, I messed up there. Okay, that's unacceptable. We could draw that a little better. This is the body. All right. Not bad. Body. Okay. And then this down here is the footer. All right. Now, we want to make sure that the least amount of internal links are showing up site-wide pointing to the home page. I see this mistake a lot. A mistake that I'll see is I'll see an image with the word home in the header and the footer. That's 4 links site-wide pointing back to the homepage. And then business owners will be curious, why is my homepage outranking all my other pages? So, because it's inevitable. The homepage is the oldest. The homepage has to get citations and directories and PR. Like, it's inevitable. So we don't want to help fight ourselves in the future. So a way to alleviate that fight is at least remove the links. Like if you want to have the logo up in the top left-hand corner and it goes to your homepage, fine. But we don't need a logo and the word home or back or up or anything anywhere site-wide pointing from every page back up. Okay? The homepage, unfortunately, just isn't that important to us yet. It will become very important. But right now, if you're watching this video and we're talking about architecture, our first steps are establishing our high commercial intent and depth of concept. All right? I don't want to fight with my homepage. Also, just because you see sites that have been in existence for 8+ years and they're doing it wrong and winning doesn't mean that you want to follow that formula, right? You're just going to be fighting yourself internally. All right? I assure you, move all those links, start setting yourself up for success. All right? With that being said, now that we've addressed that issue, I want to point out, remember how we have our top level service pages like dentist? We also do Invisalign and fillings. These here, identified in red, are going to go in our header menu site-wide. Just this word. Dentist, Invisalign, fillings, you with me? Down in the footer, we're also going to point to top level pages, but with a variation pointing to the same page. Chris, what do you mean by that? So the page is optimized for dentist. In this case, it's Dentist, Texas, right? And up at the top, we wrote dentist, whatever's our primary is in the head. Why? Because the head is more valuable than the foot, and the body is more valuable than them both. So in the footer, though, site-wide, we want to point to the same page to get one more internal link, but the only way to maximize value is by varying anchor text. Same with an external link. So, and plus on top of that, you get rewarded for having variations on your page. Google will ding you if you repeat the same word. They'll reward you if you have variations, right? They'll reward you. Let's just keep it at that, okay? So you might want to put dental, dentist fillers. You know your variations, okay? And those go in the foot. Remember, it's going to these pages, top level service, okay? The very next thing that we want to establish now is we have our location pages. So the page that we are currently optimizing here is going to be this page that I've drew the arrow on. I'm on my top level dentist page. I'm internally linked to all my other top level pages in the head and the foot site wide. I'm on my top level dentist page right now. So we have currently 2 sections that we can potentially link from, but they're both the most important sections, and that's why we save them for last. Sidebar, even though it can be manipulated and controlled with utilizing a menu option inside of WordPress, wink, wink, which makes your life easy, it's also, some people don't utilize it because they think it's a different section. Sidebar is easy to control using menus. You can even show or hide them and they're still counted. It's in the render DOM. With that being said, what we want to do is we want to take our internal linking block. See this? If you were to convert this into a anchor text, for instance, just the word Houston or dentist Houston, dentist Austin, dentist Dallas, dentist Fort Worth, I don't care if you had 700 of these. Okay, you might not want 700, right? But all the cities, remember, you have a very robust page here, right? What I'm getting at here is we want to have two sections on the page using variations, using our internal linking block to link to all of our most relevant location service pages. Again, I'm on the top level state page for dentist. I need to internally link to my dentist Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and any other city pages. And we want to do it twice. All right. What I like to do is I want to take my primary terms like dentist Houston, and we're going to put those here. Dentist Houston, dentist Austin, dentist Dallas, dentist Fort Worth. Then we're going to go over in our sidebar, or it could even be like, let's say there's some words here. Let's say we have 2,000 words of content here. Another section of the page, what we're going to do is instead of writing dentist, we're going to say Houston Dental, Austin Dental, Dallas Dental, okay, Fort Worth Dental. See that? Pointing to the same page with an internal link from the same page, utilizing a variation. Now I have two sets of A tags on my page, making my page more relevant. On top of that, using variations, pointing to a page, making my other page more relevant while making the page that I'm on more relevant. And on top of this, you only have to do it once. Why is that, Chris? Because I'm going to make these internal linking blocks based upon the primary category, a site-wide global element. So that way, when I'm on my other dentist pages, I just say boop, 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 boop. And now I have internal linking blocks twice using variations on all the pages that are relevant to each other. But Chris, there's more, isn't there? I see that sidebar. It looks lonely. You are correct. But I didn't want to overwhelm us at first. So now let's talk about building depth of depth of concept. And we're going to use that side section to maybe add one more variation depending upon competition. In this market, you might want to add one more variation. We have dentist city. We also have city dental. Now we might want to say dentistry services or dentistry expert. But what we also want to establish is our informational content. Now, remember that homework that we talked about earlier in the video, where we went into a city, identified the counties, the towns, and the neighborhoods, and got the zip codes? Remember that? Let's just say I lost an average person's salary. I had a client, like bread and butter, okay? I messed up so bad. And it totally changed how I did SEO, right? I made a massive error. And I never want to see you do this. But I'm going to teach you the lesson that I learned very hard, okay? And here's the lesson. Here you go for free. You're welcome, because I love you. So here it is. When you're creating informational content, you do not create geo-specific informational content. This is another change from my 2-year-old video, right? I'm not creating geo-specific informational content, all right? I mean, that lost me. It was horrible. I might have cried in the shower to myself. Just saying. It was at that present time, I remember it being it was rough. It was rough. All right. I'm just like living it now. But here's the lesson. So you do not And again, if we see someone getting a temporary win in the SERPs, not following optimal practices, right? Like something that's not tried and true and they're getting away with it, let them have their run. Okay. But what I would highly recommend in this particular instance is this. So now that we have already established this, I want to point this out. All right. Here, let me come back down to here now. All right. And what I want to do is I want to grab my top level page. Okay. Here, get rid of this stuff. All right. We've already addressed the page. You know what we're on now. What we're doing is we're talking about supporting content to build depth of concept and also end up getting more key term and key term variations. Now, remember, do not lose your list of cities. You already know what they are. The counties that those cities are in, the zip codes that there's lots of zip codes. There's lots of number variations, right? Some people search that way. There's a lot of neighborhoods, all right? And you want to know what? You may even want to gather up all the streets. If you have API access, you might want to shove all that in the schema between us, right? I know it's a lot of work. It'll be worth it though, all right? So here's what you'll want to do. The formula stays the same. No matter what term you look up, at the end of the day, there's only 6 questions, technically 7, that need to be answered about any topic. How you maximize key term variation and potential is by adding all of that information that I just told you. I mean, you could do it the sloppy way. You could believe me or not, go try it on one page. Gather up that whole list and just throw it into the page, like with no care given. But make sure you optimize the page first properly around who, what, when, why, where, how. Who needs a dentist? When should I hire a dentist? Where do I hire a dentist? Who are the best dentists? What's a dentist? How much does a dentist cost? When should I get a dentist? Who, what, when, why, where, how. It does not matter. Any industry, any niche, there's only 6 questions to answer. Right? But here's what's even more fun. Usually there's only 3 to 5 of these question types, supporting content, that actually get volume. All right? Usually how much, when should I get it, right? If you answer who, what, when, why, where, how about your topic and then do a best of list, some clients we work with, we call it cojones. I'm just going to be honest with you. Some clients have the cojones to target their competition's name. And how you do that is you make a best of list, right? Best in the city. Of course you're at the top, right? And no, you don't have to link to them. It's not for everyone, but this is a way that you can rank in high commercial intent SERPs while also having an informational piece. All we're trying to do is siphon traffic from the competition. Traffic is the lifeblood of a website. If I take your traffic, you don't have a site. And if I start getting reciprocal clicks based on someone searching for your brand and I get your click, and that happens more than once, you're going to have trouble. Anyway, we're not here to hurt. We're here to help us and your family, right? Anyway, where you're going to build your informational content is here. All right. So you're going to build it supporting, that's why I left this line here, supporting this term here. All right. So let me give you the example and then I'm going to have to go. This is the last piece of today's tutorial, guide, checklist. I'll answer your questions and then I have to run. Love you guys. All right. I need to go see my son. Here. Oh my gosh, that's insane. I'm not drinking that. I don't know who left that here. All right. All right, this is informational. And even on a flat architecture type, you still build supporting content to support the main idea. See, this is where I got messed up. See, I used to go out there And I'm not saying it wasn't effective. It worked for a few sites. Not all niches are equal. Not all SERPs are equal. That's why I identify each and every SERP first, right? That's why there's a lot more process nowadays, as I had to learn. Anyway, we come out here and we look at dentist. How much does a dentist cost? Yes, I'm putting whatever the term is, I'm putting it into the URL. But Chris, I thought that Google wants short URLs. Google's only looking at what's in between the brackets. That's actually not that long. You're not going to put the question mark. This isn't that bad. All right. With that being said, this is where you're going to, how much does it cost? Right? I'll do one more example. All right. Control C. I'll do one more example here. When to hire a dentist. Now, I didn't look these up. I'm assuming this is probably what it's going to be. But this is where you put your supporting content. Do you see now? You have a silo here. This is our brand. This is what we do. Here's our depth of concept. How much, who, what, when, why, where, how, and a best of. We covered all the bases. And then I showed you on that other dental site, we built the bios, we built out the entities, the profiles of the experts. We have videos, we have reviews, we have testimonials, we have, right? I even, not only is it a dollar generating asset, but it's also a reciprocal link building asset to have the others. And on top of that, it's even more experts pointing to me that are category specific, right? So now I have reviews and other links from hyper specific businesses. I have videos, reviews. You with me? I already showed you the site, so I digress. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this entire silo right here, only on these pages. This is an internal linking block. This is the dentist internal linking block for the dentist sidebar. These links with the information, all of them, go over here in the sidebar. You're going to make another set of internal links right here. You can leave them naked or naked as in just the URLs. Clients don't like that, right? They think it looks bad, right? You can make it, you can do it however you want, but you need these 3 sets of internal links. 1, 2, 3. This is where we link our informational pieces. This is where we link our location pages. And this is where we're going to link our top level. Everything stays hyper relevant. The flow passes. All right. That means sidebars are made based upon categories. And then if you're using WordPress, you can control everything within the menuing option. The same thing goes for Wix and GoDaddy. They all kind of work the same due to menuing options. All right. And this is a flat architecture. I also, because I shared with you the informational, it has a touch of having depth of concept, AKA supporting content or a hard silo, but I can't build. And here's why you build it this way. I don't know if I elaborated on this. Here's why. Now, remember in my example, we do dentist, we do fillings, we do repairs, we do root canals. Let's say 4. But remember, each service that we have is who, what, when, why, where, how. Each of these pages are generally pretty much just geo-modified based upon the same content, right? So what ends up happening if I take all of this informational content that's all unique, all long form, and I put it up here instead of siloing it, is I end up having more informational types supporting the main idea, right? If I'm building all information to support the main idea, what's my site about? Remember, we're not a blog. The information is there to assist a sale and to support our services and support our customers. I want to answer the questions that they commonly have. That's the purpose. Answering the questions builds more of a rapport. Building more of a rapport builds trust. Trust builds more sales, right? You want your customers happy. It's your job, right? So we can't have an over-exceeding amount of long-form, hyper-unique content supporting the main idea because I'm not a blog, I'm a service business. So when we build our information, we choose the ones that only have volume, that are informational type, and we build them to support the main concepts. All right. What supports our brand are the services we provide, AKA the things that we want to be perceived as synonymous with. Our business is the best dentist in Texas. Our business is a dentist in Houston, Austin, Dallas. On top of that, we have all this information. All right. I hope you're with me. We got to wrap this up. I love you guys, though. I hope that you enjoyed this today. I hope it's been helpful. My name is Chris Palmer. In case we dip out of here, I'm going to go ahead and give this to you. Hey, Chris, always watching you and learning. Thank you for your updates, my friend. Always happy to help. Joel's good. I just made it on time. Excellent to see you, my friend. Daniel Karate. I like that name. Daniel Karate. Like Daniel Karate get wax on? Wax off. Oh, Daniel-san. Oh, I'm sorry. I love that movie. Anyway, for a business with multiple locations in the same region, how do we prevent keyword cannibalization when targeting similar services across those locations? You're targeting a SERP. Cannibalization is taking clicks and or impressions, most notably calls and clicks, away from pages that should be performing as opposed to the ones that are performing currently, right? That's true cannibalization. When we're creating location service pages, they could be duplicate other than geo modifiers, and all the tools will say, oh, it's duplicate. Oh my gosh. Duplicate content's not a penalty. Duplicate content is not an issue because, and plagiarism is. And I can't plagiarize myself. Plus, the SERP that's trying to rank in LA is not going to be the same SERP that's trying to rank in Austin. Same content, two different SERPs. So, and that's how you prevent this. It's not actual cannibalization. Duplicate content isn't cannibalization. All right. Like there's no probability that that could ever happen because we've done our keyword research before we laid out those pages. Like I'm not going to have competing pages. I'm targeting individual SERPs. Might be the same content and the tool might say, oh, duplicate. I don't care. We only care what Google says. All right, my friend. Hopefully that helps you out. Should we use canonical tag no index or different approach? Canonical tag is to signify the original, right? It's generally used when you're creating different variations of ad text or copy, and you are 100% duplicating yourself. In the particular instance that I'm showcasing and sharing with you today, these are location pages. These are geo-modified pages. But if you want to spend the time, the resources, and the energy creating all unique before indexation, you can, if you're actually concerned about this issue. I like to spend dollars, resources, and time only if I have to. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Chris, thank you for covering this. My pleasure. Chris says, how's it going, brother? Love your videos. Learn a lot every time. Thank you, sir. Very happy to do this. So much knowledge from watching Chris. This is the channel to learn from. Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure. Hey, Chris, for multiple Google business locations doing lead gen, should I do one location per workspace? Should I do one workspace with multiple locations in the same industry under that one workspace? I like the latter is probably much better in this case. Hiding in plain sight is always better than manipulating, right? Hide in plain sight. Try to keep everything on the up and up, even if everything's not on the up and up. Like WW, a real business do, right? A real business would probably use the same business name, maybe dash location, and they would keep them all in one. You would make sure that you have a unique address, a unique title, and a unique phone number pointing to a unique page per GMB. Would you house them all under the same Gmail? Of course you would. But you would make sure that you're paying Google for a workspace and you have individual aliases to help separate each of those locations. All right, unpack that. This will be recorded. That's how I would do it. Would it be safe for one location? Yep, you got it. You are creating. Just run back and watch that. I only because I'm in a rush now. I love you guys though. I'll answer your questions. I watched your Google business video, but it was still confused on that part. You buy a workspace, right? You have 10 locations. You buy a workspace. Let's say it's Nash Auto Repair. Nash Auto Repair services 10 locations, okay? I create 10 Google business profiles, okay? Each of those profiles has to be attached to an email. So before I actually created those, what I'm doing is I buy a workspace and I buy it from Google. When you buy an enterprise workspace from Google, you're allowed to add alias emails. When I create an alias email, Google gives me a unique email and a unique profile. All right. And that's how a business owner does it. That's why it exists. That's why you're allowed to do it. And that's what I recommend. All right. I can house it all under one master, but it's technically all separated, just like a real business would do. Like I don't want my Charlottesville email getting flooded or inundated with Port Charlotte emails. And on top of that, the phone numbers are different. The location name is different. You with me? They're in the same, but they're separate. They're technically separate. And that's all that matters. Thank you, sir. Ollie. This guy created the Ollie. For real. I know the guy that created the Ollie. It's documented. I met him. I know him. What's up, Ollie? It's good to see you, man. Hey, Chris, you kick butt. We broke the 4-mile mark, up 30% because of your magic. Thank you. Just chimed in to tell us that. Thank you, Ollie. Dude, thank you. Amazing. LOL, every time I watch your lives, I realize I should start over. Just kidding, but I wish we would have known this 10 years ago. Great video. Thank you, South Charlotte. I watched your video. Okay, so we went through all the questions. I'm going to go see little Chris. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I went a half hour over. I love you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. grayhatseo.com. Next day or so. I'm an indecisive guy, and I don't like to move until I'm 100% sure. So I know the service. Like I have everything already mapped in my sheet, but then it'll seem like poof, out of nowhere, everything just changes, right? Because I've already thought about it. In any case, I love you guys, man. And ladies and gentlemen, so I'll see you in the next one. Gray Hat SEO. It's not really anything's going to change. I just want to be able to offer monthly packages to those that want help, like somebody to manage it. On top of that, proxy service, SEO Mastermind. We still have consulting. Every Thursday we meet here for Mastermind. If you just have questions, ask in the section below, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you tomorrow. All right? See ya. Bye-bye.